10 years. Now around 13 years of IT experience, and yeah, that is pretty much from my side.
You're based out of India or you're in the US now?
I'm in US,
Okay,
California.
which you're okay, so you're on the PDT then.
Yes, PST.
Good. Okay, so you have experience with Java, J2EE, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
That's good. And a little bit of JavaScript, HTML as well.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm a portal developer,
So that should be okay. Perfect.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
All right. Next get started with Ramesh. Hey, hi Ramesh.
Hi, my name is Ramesh Sundaram. I live in Chicago suburbs. I work for a company called AbbVie, and been working with them for almost 20 years. So now I'm looking for a new job change. And my experience has been with AbbVie for all these years. I'm an architect for all the Adobe lifecycle applications and Java J2E applications. And I have extensive experience with lifecycle forms and workbench and everything. So I got introduced into this AEM forms and plus the CQ5. This was a couple of years back, but after that I didn't get a chance to work on that one. So now I think it's the right time to pick on the technology.
Oh, so you worked on ES4 and all these things? ES1 to 4?
Yes, yeah, ES1, ES2, ES4, everything I
okay,
worked on it.
and now on the AEM forms, right?
Now on the AEM forms, yes. I started off with the AEM forms, and I got, in 2013 when they had the CQ5 and the 5.7, when they had this Adobe Experience Manager, that time we started. That's when I was introduced, but
5.6.
I moved on.
5.6.1, maybe you would have worked 6.1 probably.
Yeah, that the very first one when it came in, when they actually adapted the CQ5 into on Adobe network.
Oh, 5.5.
That's when
yeah.
5.5. That's when, yeah.
Okay.
But after that, I had and I've not been with any of the AEM products for a long time. It was only ES4 upgrade and other things, and only recently I just started out with the Forms 6.2.
Okay.
And that's it.
So
yeah.
you are aware of OSGi concept?
A little bit, the whole framework and all the AEM components, everything. I just on a very high level, architecture level, I got introduced, but nothing really into deep into hands-on or any kind of architecture. Yes.
So actually this training, this specific training, this will be more at a development level where we'll get into the architecture stuff, and it's going to be more of a hands-on. So is that something you're looking for?
Yes, sure, definitely, because unless we know that one, the architecture is not going to be easy thing to do it. So because I have the experience on the other side, okay. I also want to know how the hands-on is going to be with that one. Yes.
I got it, because some folks who come in, they specifically look at high-level architecture, integration pieces. They don't want to touch the hands-on, so I just wanted to let you know. Good to hear that then. Fine.
Okay, thank you, Rajesh.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry to jump in over here.
No problem. Go ahead.
Okay. Who has just spoken from AbbVie?
Sorry, what is that?
This is Ramesh Sundaram.
Ramesh Sundaram. Okay. Yeah, anyway, it's my turn now, right?
Yeah.
So this is Sayed, and I'm from Share. I'm the digital architect at Share PLC. And
okay.
Ramesh Sundaram, it's actually your profile matches my profile, and your requirement matches my requirements also. So that's why, with interest, I have asked your name. But
so you are with the Shire. You are with the Shire. So you are also in Chicago suburb, right?
That's correct. That's correct.
Welcome
okay.
to the AEM club.
Yeah. The thing is that I have a little more experience on the development side. Like I have, like 3 years back, I was there with the US Bank, and where I have developed the components, and I was there in the architect side, but still I have made some hands dirty a little bit level. But now the 6.2 came in, and the HDL came in, the complete little bit architecture change to came into the picture. All those things, like the things have evolved from past 2 years since I have left AEM and then came into the team side. So I just wanted to know more of the development level. Yes, absolutely. I'm looking for making my hands dirty, because as Ramesh said, rightly said, to make an architecture, you you can't be an architect only. You have to be a developer too. So that's the reason that I have joined this call and this meeting, this training. Basically, that's what I'm looking at.
Sure.
From the experience point of view, yes, from almost I have 16 years experience, and I have worked on the various content management technologies. Along with this 16 years experience, like I have worked on the team side, I have worked on the Oracle UCM, I have worked on AlphaScope, I have worked on, I even forgot, like 8 years back, there was, that is owned by Oracle now, so I
Web
worked on
Center?
that.
Okay.
Yeah, Web Center. So I worked on that one, and basically predominantly I worked on team side, like around 6 to 7 years. I worked on AEM a little bit, an year or so, around 2 years back, and now like at the architecture level. And now we are moving in from team side to the AEM. Almost how we have like base work, and we have built that whole environment in the Adobe Cloud, and we are just building up the full thing. And I'm working on that one. And basically, we have not moved the site set. So maybe this is the right time for me to understand the new architecture of 6.2. I know a little bit, but still, more is always good.
Okay, I got it. So, all right, thanks for the introduction. Let's go to Shobi. Hi, Shobi. You would have to unmute if you're speaking. All right, Sudhakar, would you like to get started?
Hi, this is Sudhakar, and I have only 2.5 years of experience in IT, and I'm working in Infosys. I'm from Hyderabad, and I'm from Java and J2EE, but I'm very new to this AEM.
Okay.
And I want to work on that. Just heard about from my friend. I'm looking for that.
Sure. Okay, that's very good. So you are aware of what content management system is?
Not exactly, actually.
Okay,
Yes.
no problem. All right. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks for introduction, Sudhakar. Let's go to Shobi now.
Hi, I'm sorry. I don't know how to unmute it, so I just discovered them. So I'm from Charlotte. I work at a company, Bright House Financial. So as I was working as a SharePoint developer and content developer, I work on AEM, I mean the author environment, not at the back end. So I'm very new to AEM, so I want to learn how it works at the back end. So that's my interest. So I'm like a fresher, like I have 3 years of experience. So
okay,
I'm new to
you
this
are
field.
aware of a bit of core Java, servlets, JSP?
No,
no,
I don't know
okay.
anything about it, but I learned in college. So
okay.
Yeah.
So all right. So maybe once the session is over, I'll give you a few topics before we kind of get started. It will be great
Sure.
if we can refresh on those.
Thank you.
Okay, good. So guys, we have a mixed audience, so I might have to start with the very fundamentals. So people who already know will have to bear me or probably correct me if I go wrong. Okay, so to give a quick introduction about myself, like I'm an Adobe architect, so I've been with Adobe. I do my own consulting. I worked on about 7 large-scale implementations. So we've been training from the last 3 years, and so yeah, I'm qualified enough to handle this training. And let me start sharing my screen. I have something to show you. Let me know once you start seeing my screen.
Of stuff.
Right. So basically, it's a tool for building websites, right? Where it makes it easy for non-technical users, whom we call them as authors, to manage the content of your website. Right? So if you traditionally try to build a Java website, or let's say a .NET or a PHP website, any backend changes you have to go and update the code. So to save yourself from the deployment, releases, and all these things, you want a stakeholder called as authors. right? Without knowing any technologies, they would be able to manage the system. Just give me a minute. This is screen is coming up. Okay. In addition to it, it allows you to run something called as workflows. It allows you to add new users to the system, to enable permissions for those users. So basically, you don't need to code anything. You would have a kind of an interface, right, where you could do everything on the fly. Okay, it's come up finally. Okay.
Yeah, you're able to see.
Good. So basically, AEM, right? Let's understand what are some of the CMS tools available in the market, right? So you any idea which tools are there for CMS? Like you said, Oracle Web Center is one. Any other tools?
WebSphere content management.
WebSphere, TeamSite, Sitecore, WordPress. On the open source end, you have Drupal, you
Yeah.
have WordPress, right? So why
Tritium.
AEM? Yeah, sure. So correct. So why AEM, right? Even though you have all these tools, why is there so much of demand for AEM? Right? Any ideas? Okay. There are some 5 to 6 points. Basically, how do architecture teams or how do enterprises evaluate the CMS tools available in the market? So they rely on standard reports. So which are some of the standard reports? You have Forresters, you have Gartners, right? Now, when you get into these reports, you have a parametric based evaluation of various CMS tools in the market, right? And why AEM leads. So let's open this report. So consistency last 2-3 years, AEM has been leading in all the quadrants of the Forrester. So if you see, you could go and download the report here. And there's one more here. I'm going to share this document with you. You could go and download the report. So this is the first point of evaluation. You have on a scale of 0 to 10, they evaluate all the CMS tools, right? And when you talk about digital marketing, AEM is the CMS tool, right? Now, along with AEM, Adobe has various solutions, right? So just building the website is not enough. You need to get real-time insights and analytics. So you have Adobe Analytics. And some of the other analytic tools in the market is you have Google Analytics, right? You have Omniture, which is Adobe Analytics. And if you see, Adobe has been named a leader in the analytics space, right? Now, having said this, right, what are some of the key points that discriminate AEM from other CMS tools, right? The first one is, if you look at some large websites which are built on AEM, let's say I go to intel.com. AEM allows you to build a multi-channel, multi-language website, right, with minimum development effort. So what do you mean? So basically, if you see something like Intel, right, this has multiple languages based on the regions, right? You would have multiple languages. When you have these many languages, right? So somebody told me they're doing the authoring stuff. Who was that?
Me? Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, how do you manage multiple languages? Do you have a translator or something? Or do you manually do it?
Manually. We
Yeah,
manually do it. Yeah.
you manually do it, which means you would have to use like something like a Google Translator, take the translations, right? So with AEM, right, we have a framework called as multi-site manager, right, called as MSM, which allows you to build multi-channel and a multi-language website. This is a multi-language, which means you would create English as the base copy and you would roll it out into multiple languages, right? So it's just one-time creation, and there is a translation workflow available within AEM. You could either reuse that, or you could create live copies, right? And then you could translate. So just one-time effort will keep the parent and the child language websites in sync. Okay, that is the first advantage. When I say multi-channel, right, again, how does that work? Multi-channel means your same website, it should work on a mobile device, it should work on a tablet, right? It should work on any device, which means one-time development, correct? You could create a base language, and you could have the child copies and have the synchronized child copies, like something like m.intel.com, which would be a separate site for the mobile. This used to be a legacy design, of course. So nowadays, with a responsive framework, you just build it once, right? And you could use something like a CSS, the layouts using CSS3, media queries, something like a bootstrap, and make it responsive. Okay, either you could use that approach, or you could use AEM's MSM approach. So this is the first feature of AEM, right? The next feature of AEM, right, which makes it better than the other CMS tools is, if you see, let me go to, it allows you to build e-commerce websites with ease. So what are some of the things that you expect in an e-commerce website? Few components, if somebody can think of.
Cart, regular cart.
Correct. You could expect a cart, you could expect a payment gateway, a product variant, right? What else? Before buying the product, you would want to see the reviews, ratings, comments, right? You would want to have all these things embedded into your system, so that when you want to build an e-commerce website, you would not have additional development effort in that. Okay? So Adobe AEM gives you that. So basically, when you want to, which means the advantage with giving these as reusable components is your time to marketing will be high and development effort would be low. That is ideally what your marketing requires, right? So let's say, so if you see, this is the console where you log in into AEM. Of course, we are going to people who are new to AEM, we are going to set up the server. We are going to understand a lot of things. At a high level, I want you to understand why AEM. So that's the reason I'm directly navigating to this console. Let's say, so you have some reference websites which are built by Adobe, so that it acts as a reference for best practices, content modeling, and all of that stuff. Okay, so once you log in here, this is an e-commerce website. So this geometrics here, you would get it once you start the server, and this is a fictitious website given by Adobe. It's taking a lot of time. Okay, so basically my point is, I'll show when this loads up. So basically the product detail, right? You would see the product detail, shopping cart, payment gateway, all these come as built-in components. So when you want to customize, let's say you have a new requirement to build e-commerce website, you could reuse those components, right? And it's just a matter of changing the configuration, changing the layouts. So there's no separate effort in building new APIs. It's just a matter of customizing if you require something, or reuse as is, right? So that's the advantage that AEM gives. Having said that, you might have scenarios where okay, you might have a Hybris, an already existing Hybris as backend where all the data is stored in Hybris, and let's say you want to use AEM as a front end, right? All the components will be in AEM, but it's fetching all the product information like the pricing, the variants, right? The product like what quantity is available in your inventory. All that information is in your Hybris, or it could also be your Oracle ATG. So these are some of the popular e-commerce systems. So basically, is it possible for me to integrate with this backend e-commerce system? Yes, absolutely. For Hybris and Oracle ATG, you have a built-in connector which is already available, right? Which means the integration becomes very easy. And let's say if you don't have a connector which is already inbuilt, is it possible to build my own connector? Yes. Because AEM is a Java-based CMS, you could go ahead and build your own connector, right? So that is the point I've added here. It gives you a powerful ability to build e-commerce websites with ease, wherein you have the cart, payment gateway, product view, product detail, pricing, which come in as built-in components. Which API do I need to use to have this? It's your ComDay Commerce API, which you will understand as we go through, right? Next, what is the next advantage of AEM, right? So what do I mean by personalization in general, anybody?
Certain rules defined by as per that business. Based on that, we will show that content
Right, you're
to
right.
the user.
So
Yeah.
showing relevant content, right, based on the users. Like let's say you're age 25 and your interest is, let's say, books. Right? So when you log into let's say Amazon.com, I'm trying to pull in information about your likings or your previous behavior or probably your geographical location from where you have logged in. And the same homepage URL of my website shows different content, right? Showing relevant content to relevant users. How does AEM do that? AEM gives me a powerful personalization framework where it's easy for, so basically the first thing I need to create when I work with personalization is create segments of users, right? What do I mean by a segment? For example, a segment can be something like people from California. This could be one segment. AEM gives you, it gives you an interface where you can go and create these segments, right? It could be either on the geographical location or based on the OS. For Android users, if you log into, let's say, Microsoft.com, it might show you a different page. For Apple users, it might show you a different page, right? So this is based on the type of browser that my, just give me a minute, guys. I'm sorry. Okay. So yeah, so based on these particular criterion, you could go and create the segments. And once you create the segments, you could also go and create various experiences for these segments. Okay. So how is this being possible? This is because AEM gives you a common interface where you could go and do these activities. So the next advantage with AEM is it gives you a strong personalized framework. Okay. Next. The next thing here is AEM gives you a powerful authoring framework. Right? Now, when I say powerful authoring framework, let's say I was supposed to use my personal laptop. I got stuck in office today, so that's the reason I don't have the PPTs with me at this point.
Rajesh, I noticed that your battery level is very low. Hope make sure that you're okay with that.
Yeah, thanks for letting me know that. Let me just You're going to get used to these URLs. You're going to set up the server. Don't worry about that aspect. So the point I'm trying to convey is, let's say I have my authoring team and I work for foxnews.com. Right? My authoring team is, and there is, let's say, a disaster, God forbid, there's a disaster, and you have the, let's say, the news reporting team at that particular location, clicking photos of that disaster. Now, they immediately want to update the website with those pictures. Right? One option is for them to click photos and directly upload it. You need AEM to open up on their phones, which means you don't want them to go keep scrolling, find the options and stuff. So the moment you resize, you would want to see a responsive framework for authoring. Right? I'm not talking about what the end user sees. I'm talking about the authoring interface, because only once the authors log in can they go and add the content. So if you see, right, the author logs in, and if you try to resize this guy, you see this? No concept of horizontal scroll bar, which used to be a legacy design, right? When you wanted to pull something, you would scroll to the right and you would pinch it and you would struggle with it. So if you see, this is a responsive framework. It becomes a 3-grid. If you expand further, it becomes a 4-grid. So who's doing this? AEM. The moment you ship the server for the first time, you would basically get this feature. Right? So I've added, it gives you a powerful authoring frameworks, responsive framework for authoring. The next advantage is AEM basically, imagine sites like foxnews.com, or let's say, yeah, let's go to foxnews.com. Now if you see, these websites relevant for the latest pictures, videos, and sometimes some documents, PDFs, right? Which means you need a centralized console. You don't want those pictures to be scattered all over your physical locations, go find it and stuff, right? That's the first thing. And also, the same image might not show good on your mobile. So on a mobile, you would want a different width and height of this image. And on a laptop, you might want a different size of the image, right? Which means you might have different width and height requirements for your website. So how does AEM help me with it, right? So it solves two problems here. If you see, we have something called as DAM. So these are all called digital assets, right? Images, PDFs, videos, Word documents, these are called as digital assets. So AEM gives you a centralized console for managing all your digital assets. If you see, centralized console, I could have 10 websites and all the images, banners, videos, let's say any snapshots, slideshows, everything gets under one umbrella. That is the first advantage. The next advantage is, let's say when you upload an image, right, you don't need to worry about the image processing, right? All you need to do is just one configuration which gives you different width and height. So if you see, this is a 48 cross 48, 48 width and 48 height. Just upload one image with the original size, which was 807 and by 595. Automatically AEM has created these renditions. Who's doing that job? Somebody said AEM also takes care of workflows. What do I mean by workflow? Basically, workflow is a set of steps that gets executed when you perform an action, and that workflow is basically responsible for creating these assets. And we are going to see this in future. Where exactly can I see the workflows? How do I create the workflows? This is very important. Okay? So it solved two purposes here. One is centralized console for managing all the digital assets and generating this different width and height. Okay? That's the next thing. So I've added a point here saying AEM gives me the flexibility to manage and enhance customer and visitor experiences across all digital channels. Okay, it gives you the digital asset management console, which is a centralized location for managing the digital assets, and it generates multiple renditions for an image. Okay. Now, having said this, right, AEM also gives you so basically whenever you log into a website, you want it to be interactive. So nowadays the trend is you want to let your customer interact with the website as much as possible. So something like Amazon, right? Let's say you purchase something, you want to go and add reviews, ratings, comments. So people want to look at what the community says and then purchase a product, right? So AEM gives you a framework for adding comments, ratings, reviews. So if you look at the same Geometrics commerce site, yeah, this is the commerce site, right? Finally it is opened up. So these are all the products here, right? These are all the shirts, pants, right? You have the price, and somebody told we also require a shopping cart, right? So let's say I want to purchase this t-shirt. Come on, this has to work. Let's say I'm interested in purchasing the shirt. Okay, this is the shirt I want to purchase. There's a coat. There's something seriously wrong with the server. I go to the men's section and I'm interested in purchasing this shirt. Okay. You see, so basically it's making a backend call to my e-commerce system. By default, now I'm on Elastic Path. I'm integrated with Elastic Path. You could integrate with any e-commerce system, right? You could go and before buying this, I want to go and see the reviews, right? So can I add my own review? Absolutely possible. This comes as a component. You see this? This comes as a component. So of course, people new to this, you need to understand what a component is, what a page is, what a website is, right? A website is a combination of pages. Page in turn is a combination of components. So what are some of the components? This is a header component. You would have a footer component here. You could also have an image. You could have a text. And I think there's one person who is new to all of these systems. So let me give you a little bit of basic here. Okay, so if you see, my website is a combination of pages. My page in turn is a combination of these components. And if you see, this is the logo. Every component is editable. So the author logs in. He feels that he does not like this text here. All he needs to do is double click on this component, and every component, it's ideal to make it editable. So all I need to do is what you see here, the way authors can interact with the content on your website is by using this dialog. And I would say this pop-up that you see here is called as the dialog. And you just change this guy and this changes. And let's say I'm unhappy with this image. Every component, this is the image component, this is a text component, right? This is all going and getting stored into your backend. We'll understand how that mechanism works as well. Let's say I'm unhappy with this image. I could go and add another image. I could drag and drop this. Where is this coming from? This is coming from that console which I showed you, the DAM console, the digital asset management console. Okay. Right? On the fly, everything changes and you can take it to production by publishing it. Okay, you're going to understand this. Now, having said this, okay, so if you see, I could see the reviews. You would see the consolidated review here. That you could go tweet about this. You could go add your reviews and do whatever you want. Right? And then you could say add to cart. See, this comes as a component again. Right? I could edit the configuration and just work with it as I want. So I would say, let's say I say this many and I say add to cart. You see this? That's because I've set some infinite, I've set a very large number and that's what has made it available. So it's calculated it. This is a checkout. You could edit any of these sections here. You could edit. Instead of calling it as checkout, let's say purchase. You see the abilities, right? So I could just go and purchase this guy. And it takes me to the payment gateway. Till the payment gateway. So if somebody wants to work on an AEM website, all you need to do is go and look at the source code of these components and assemble it for your new website. Right? That's the beauty of this tool. Okay. Now, I just wanted you to recognize the power of all these features. It also gives you seamless integration with digital marketing solutions. Which are some of the digital marketing solutions? Right? You need the analytics, Adobe Analytics. Adobe also gives you something called Adobe Target. It's good to know all of these things. So what I've done is somewhere here I've given you a YouTube channel link. Our training is on AEM, but it's good to know the different tools in the Adobe Marketing Cloud. I've added this here. There is a YouTube channel where you could go and look at these are small 2-minute videos on what digital marketing is and what are some of the solutions in the Adobe Marketing Cloud. Okay. Adobe Target is used for personalization. And you have Adobe Campaign. Right? So basically you want to go and create campaigns, you want to create different audiences. How would I create vouchers? How would I create offers? How would I create promotions and stuff? It takes taken care by your Adobe Campaign.
One quick question. I mean, is it possible to integrate with third-party tools?
Yes,
like Google,
it is.
Google Analytics. Okay.
It is possible. It's just a Java-based application, so you could embed any JavaScript framework. If you see Google Analytics has the analytics, it's a JS thing you need to embed. So it works with any framework. It works with Angular JS. It works with any JavaScript framework or any Java integration third party. Can I invoke web services from AEM? Possible. Can I consume a third party database data into AEM? Possible. Can I push AEM to a JMS queue? Possible. Right? You could do anything below the planet with like any Java application. It's like any Java application you could do. It works well seamlessly.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. The next thing, what are some of the large? How do I find out if what website, what architecture my website is using? Right? What technology is my website is using? So you could go to builtwith.com, enter any website, and you should be able to see the technology stack behind it. Let's say I type in something like citrix.com. I would go and do a lookup, right? And if you see, it uses Adobe CQ content management system. And for my curiosity, I want to go and see more sites which use CQ. So I click on download list. It gives me a 20,000 list. So if you see some of the top names are here, you could go and download the lead list. 18,000 websites on AEM. And these are not small sites. If you see, these are some of the, at least about 30% of the Fortune 5000 are on AEM now. Okay. So it's one day it will be at least 70 to 80% on AEM. That's the kind of work. These are top brands, Philips, T Connectivity. You can go and validate any of these sites, Adobe, Harley Davidson, Kellogg's, blah, blah, blah. Okay. For your curiosity's sake, go and download the lead list. Okay. So imagine the amount of work. Yes. So next, I see a strong future for the next 7 to 8 years at least, with the kind of projects that Adobe is having and stuff. That is one thing. Now, the next question is, what are the prerequisites for this course? Okay, people need to know JSP servlets. So I did recently we gave a training for a few freshers, so they didn't know about JSP servlets. So you have a YouTube channel, Java Brains by Koshikar. Any mode of learning should be fine. Core Java, what do I exactly require? I need JVM, collections, interfaces, object creation. At an elementary level should be fine. Inheritance. What do I need from UI? I need JavaScript, basics of JavaScript, HTML, CSS. I also need a little bit of implicit objects and custom tag creation in JSP. HTML and jQuery if possible. The fifth one you could ignore. That's even if it's not there, you could manage. So I'm pasting this on the chat list for people who are new. You could just try to recap on these. Now the next important question: how long is the training going to be? What is the topic list? Right. So hey, I think I missed out on a few introductions. Alright, so this training is basically going to be 30 hours. So we're going to cover developer and advanced developer concepts. In the developer concepts, we're going to touch upon the architecture in depth. We're going to set up AEM. I'm going to hand over the server to you so you could practice wherever you are. Every day we're going to do some hands-on. So if you look at one of my badges, I not show you. I'm on my office laptop, right? So basically, every day I'm going to provide class notes. I'm going to provide a PDF which has all the steps. In case you miss out on some session, you could go through the video recording, come back to me with questions and stuff. And I'm going to give you assignments. So it's going to be a progressive learning. And if you get stuck, you could feel free to ask me. So it's going to be, it's not a formal training. Okay, so you can feel free to ask me questions.
Ken?
We could, so basically it depends on what is your preference. I don't know. Do you prefer weekdays or weekends?
I mean, obviously, like everybody needs to agree on this one because you are saying 30 hours. So I think this is what I last time when I checked with Srinivas, it's going to be 2 hours session every day, 3 weeks.
Yeah, I want to do it like, let's say 1.5 hours from Monday
Okay,
to
yeah.
1 to 1.5 hours. And
Okay.
weekends, like it would be great if you can manage cope up. We could have on weekends.
Because if you have started doing some lab works or hands-on, we may get stuck or we may need more, help and, resolving. Not everybody can do the things at the same time. Some may be doing it faster, some may be, getting stuck somewhere. So if you can have a lab work done on the weekends, probably schedule a time.
Lab work happens every day. So I've included everything. It's actually like 23-24 hours. I've set aside 5 hours for the lab. We've been doing this, so I'll take care of the lab because every day you're going to have your hands dirty. That's my idea.
Okay, so when you say 30 hours, that means if you do 1.5 hours per day, then I'm guessing it's going to go for 20-25 days, right?
Yeah, set aside 25 days, 25 to 30 days. Sometimes we might miss a session. So some uncertainties
Right.
might arise. So let's set aside like 25 to 30 days.
Okay.
Anything else?
Okay, I want to ask a couple of questions regarding the HDL because everything is now getting developed or the slightly using slightly on the HDL.
Right.
JSP is getting diminishing slowly.
Right. Right.
So are you covering those concepts over here?
Yes. We are going to build with both Sightly as well as JSP.
Okay.
We're going to get started with JSP. We're going to see how problems get solved with Sightly because not all projects are on 6.2. So people get onto projects and it's still on 5.6, 5.6, 6.1 with JSP and stuff. So you need to know both worlds and then you'll be able to recognize what is better and stuff. So we're going to touch up on both.
Absolutely, absolutely. One more thing is that you're going to, when you're developing these components or the templates now, are you going to touch upon this Maven builds and the
Yes.
integrations,
Yes.
deploying the contents and everything, right?
Yes. Initial few sessions will be on CRXD, and then we're going to set up Maven, and then we're going to, when I touch upon OSGi layer in depth, that's when we're going to, so that's what is classified as advanced. So that's when I'm going to start that. Once we finish all the components, dialogues, and all these things, we are going to set up the Maven and get into the OSGi fundamentals.
Okay, okay. And you are also using the Eclipse, I could see that one, and the Eclipse, and you are using for the front-end development and all those brackets you are using?
Brackets. I will show you how to use Eclipse and brackets.
Okay. Yeah, I have it. I'm covered.
Good.
And one question from myself, like how long we will have that access, that server access, I mean, for development?
The AEM server, there's no expiration on that. As long as you don't take your sites into production, you could use that. There's no expiration as such on that one.
Okay.
So we will have a virtual server running on our own PCs, or we'll be accessing?
No, it's a real server running on your PC. You will get the jar, you will start the server on your instance, I mean on your machine.
Okay.
I'm going to share that server with you. I'm going to show you.
So then we'll have, okay. So what else will be installing? Like the server contains the development environment too, or is just
the server contains the web server. The server contains everything.
Okay.
Eclipse, we will add it separately. You'll download it separately. And you will need Maven at a later point of time. So I'm going to run you through all those things. So don't worry about it.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Anything else, guys? I didn't take an introduction from Pawan and the other people, Madhukar Reddy. Guys, at what point of time I missed seeing you guys join in the meeting?
Hi Rajesh, this is Madhukar.
Hi, Madhukar.
So I have 5 years of experience in Java JE technologies.
Okay.
I am working for AEM company as a senior Java developer.
Okay, good. So at what time did you join this meeting?
So I was initially joined, but I think you missed my name.
I am so sorry about it. I'm extremely sorry. I didn't see you.
No issues.
Okay. Pawan?
Hi Rajesh, this is Pawan. I have just a 6 months experience as an AEM developer at Capella University. So from there on, I moved on, and currently I got a job at RGDX. So I worked on an in-place upgrade from 5.6 to 6.1. So we have started a refactoring phase for an online university and developed all the components and templates.
You're working for Capella still?
No.
Okay, you were in Minnesota, is it?
Yes.
Oh, that's cool, man.
So now I would be working for RGDX. It's in Washington. So I'm just trying to recollect all the stuff. Yeah.
Good. So you work for Tech Aspect?
No.
Okay.
I worked in.
Okay. Capella, I know the design and stuff. I was involved with it initially.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Okay. Good, guys. So we have a good set. We have a good number. So we'll see. I'm happy to meet all of you. So let's see. I hope to see you in future. All the best, guys. And regarding the batch timings and everything, you could, the next step would be to coordinate with Srini, and then we could take it forward from there. Okay. Ideally, I would want to start at the same time, whenever you guys are okay to start. Okay. 8:30 to 9:30 EST.
So you're going to send the email with all the server information to install?